Welcome guys in today's video of Typing People. Today we are trying to type Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II. So without further ado, let's jump into the first video.
So, Your Royal Highness, we're fresh out of the judging of this year's awards in the 50th year since their inception in 1959. So tell me, what was it that got you sparked up, that got you fired up about them in the first place? Why did you start them?
Well, I got quite interested for various reasons. There was, if you remember, there was the Festival of Britain, and I got to know various people there who'd done things for it, and you look to see the new generation of design of all sorts in the festival. And then soon after that, Britannia was built.
Okay, so we have a mix. Right here we have a mix of his personal interest in new trends, and there could be a sign of SE, and an interest in people, which is FE clearly, but you have to keep in mind that he is a mature man. So this doesn't mean he has to use FE primarily on his first or tertiary slot, or even second, the auxiliary one. He can even use it in the fourth slot, and it could be grown enough to have developed a mature ability to interact with his FE. So let's go on.
And so we had to find people to do the interior design and everything else for it. And eventually Hugh Casson was recommended. So you suddenly got involved in what do you put in the bathroom, what do you put in a bedroom, what sort of door handles, what sort of cups and saucers, what sort of furniture, you know. So
okay, very sensory, very concrete. It's a list of physical things that interest him. It's very detailed oriented. This man has a quite high SE, I guess, but let's go even further.
And it brought home to me that people were sitting there designing these things.
You mentioned that it was a period of functionality and then brutality, and yet the award was given for elegant.
Well, that was the point, exactly that, to try and get back to design plus, functionalism plus, if you know what I mean.
Mm. There was initially, if I'm right, a suspicion that it would be given for almost historic design, but actually that wasn't to be the case. These were for very, very, very engineered and some of them quite functional objects.
Yeah, I mean, with the pack-away refrigerator, for instance, it's all very well now. You look back and say, well, you know, but what you didn't know is what it was competing against in other refrigerators, which were hideous beyond words. I mean, they were round and bulging and offensive. You know, this was, you know, a functional, clean, competent design. So you've got to look at it in
functional, clean and competent. This is TETETE, also mixed with SE. So let's go on.
In comparison to what else was going on.
So when we say elegant, we mean elegance in terms of the resolution of the design, an elegant solution.
Yeah, elegant solution, but also something which is just a bit better than the ordinary. You know, yes, it's easy enough to do a functional design, but you've got to add something to it. It's got to be. It doesn't have to be Gothic. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't. It needs to be more classical, which is a function, but nicely proportioned function.
And
okay, nicely proportioned is again SE. He puts the accent onto comparison. What this refrigerator was competing against. So it's TESE, because it's the competition of an object against another object. This man seems to be an ISFP right now.
do you see then the importance of design as being something central to our existence? Is it that fundamental?
No, but it makes existence a lot better, doesn't it? I mean, it makes it worthwhile, and it makes it a positive experience rather than just having to struggle through it. I mean, I think that street.
Okay, so it means this is a positive experience instead of struggling through it. This is SE overcoming SI. Struggling with it is SI, and it has a negative meaning in his head, while the other part is, of course, SE.
Furniture, for instance. I mean, why should attractive things only be in the home? Why can't they be outside, where you see them, and where everybody can enjoy them?
Okay, this is a claim for beauty and people-oriented. Everybody can enjoy it. So again, I think this is an ISFP, very brilliant and mature, actually. So we'll keep on with the second video.
I started driving because I'd been playing polo, and I decided that I would give up polo when I was 50, and I happened to be 50. And I was looking around to see what next, I don't know what there was available. And I thought, well, we've got horses and carriages and grooms. I said, well, why don't I have?
Okay, he's already talking about sports activity and concrete stuff. So again, SE.
Go. So I borrowed 4 horses from the stables in London, took them to Norfolk and practiced, and thought, well, why not? And the second competition I ever took part in was the European Championships here. I came in not quite last, but very nearly.
By the way, I think this is FI instead of TI dominant, because he seems to be driven by his personal interest. And this is an FI. I mean, I'm interested in, I'm feeling good when I do these things, so it's FI. It's not any logical consistency. So indeed, he says, I didn't make any particular reasoning. I thought, why not? This is FI.
It so happened, I don't know why, but I always did rather well at dressage, but I never managed the obstacles very, very well. Oh, it's great fun, yeah. Oh, we went all over the place. I mean, I went to Hungary twice, and to Poland, and to the Netherlands. It was very entertaining. They were turning over here in the water.
Okay, so another thing, please don't be fooled by him telling old stories. Remember that he's an old guy, so it's normal for him to share stories with you. This is not a sign of SI in this case. And that's why I basically eliminated ESTJs, ESFJs, ISTJs, ISFJs from the selection.
With the ponies, that was.
Also, he seems very entertained while he tells stories.
Revealing secrets about the day she was crowned nearly 65 years ago. The Queen was interviewed for a documentary that will air on the Smithsonian Channel this Sunday. In the program, she also watches film footage of her coronation in June 1953.
It's a sort of, I suppose, the sort of beginning of one's life, really, as a sovereign.
And while a journey in a gold coast self.
It's a sort of, I suppose, the sort of beginning of one's life, really, as a sovereign.
And while a journey in a gold coach may have looked like something out of a fairy tale, apparently it was a bumpy ride.
Horrible. It's only sprung on leather. Not very comfortable.
And it's just one of the
Oh, right away, not very comfortable, SI.
candid secrets unveiled in the coronation, where Her Majesty regales viewers with fond memories of the day she was crowned nearly 65 years ago.
I mean, I've seen one coronation and been the recipient in the other.
Okay, so apparently there aren't many videos about interviews of the Queen Elizabeth II, so we'll have to deal with what we have.
Were you in it for a long time then? Probably
Halfway around London.
Really?
We must have gone about 4 or 5 miles. We can only go at a walking pace.
Yeah,
The horses couldn't possibly go any faster.
right.
It's so heavy. There are some disadvantages to crowns, but otherwise, They're quite important things.
The Queen and her very first TV sitcom.
Okay, talking about disadvantages and labeling it as an important thing is TE. So right now she showed SI and TE.
Down shows a rather quippy side we've never seen.
You see, it's much smaller, isn't it?
The man chatting with her.
Okay, making consideration about sizes is again concrete and TE.
Is historian Alistair Bruce.
The Queen is never interviewed. So we had the film of the coronation, and she and I watched it together and made comments, and it was lovely to hear her spontaneous.
That's the explanation why there is not many footage. The Queen is never interviewed, right? I noticed.
When looking at the imperial state crown.
You can't look down to read the speech. You have to take the speech up. Because if you did, your neck would break, or it'd fall off.
Okay, so based on the little to no information I gathered on Queen Elizabeth, I'd say that Queen Elizabeth is an ISTJ and Prince Philip is an ISFP. So please guys, don't take this typing as something too serious. As you see, I watch very few content, very few interviews, and I hope you like this type of series. I hope you like this video about Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, and see you next time.